Good afternoon, everyone. This is Matt, and we wanted to introduce you to the drafted plan that we have for return to learn. And we will return our students in what we're hoping to be a two-phase approach. So as we move forward, we want to define the reason as well as the timeline for this approach. It is very important to us that we use these transitions and we go into what we call phase one for in-person instruction and maintain the same health and safety protocols that we currently feel are very important for our students and our staff in order to keep you all safe. Then there is no timeline or required date for phase one to begin, and I want to be perfectly clear about this. This outline is a drafted plan that we're seeking your feedback for. We've created this draft in cooperation with your union, fellow teachers, coaches, and administrators. But this is a stepping stone as a draft, and the plan needs to be finalized in order to be ready and prepared for implementation. Again, please note, there's no date we're talking about right now or a timeline that we're talking about right now to this plan. It's just getting the drafted plan to a finalized version so we're ready if and when this approaches. So in phase one, we're going to quickly review student assignment of days. At the elementary level, each of teachers will exactly divide their class into two groups. So you're going to make sure that if you have 26 kids, you have 13 in one group and 13 in the other group. Group A will come Mondays and Tuesdays. And Group B will become Thursdays and Fridays. Wednesday will be an all virtual day. We are encouraging Group A should be the front half of the alphabet as much as possible, and Group B should be the back half of the alphabet as much as possible. Again, Wednesday will be an all virtual day. What this means for the secondary student schedules is we can adjust them to fit their younger siblings' days if needed. For example, if I had a younger sister and her classes were assigned Thursday and Friday, but my last name starts with C, so at the secondary level, I'm assigned Monday and Tuesday. We would adjust my schedule as the older student to go Thursday and Friday in order to be going to school the same days as my younger sister. This will have to be done on a student by student, family by family basis. And we don't see we see a low number when we do a prediction about this. So lunches, what are we going to do about feeding the kids? All levels will serve lunch during the school days. This will be talked about a little bit later, but for the 2 days the students go to school, we will serve lunch to them. All the breakfasts and the remaining 5 lunches will be done through our food delivery service that we've established. It will all take place on Wednesdays in phase one. It'll still be the buses and the food service, but because Wednesday is a virtual day, the bus drivers are free in order to work with food service for the delivery for the whole district in one day. So Wednesday is the virtual day. All registered homes for food will have a food box delivered to their doorstep, and it's going to contain 7 breakfast meals and 5 lunch meals. Again, remember, the other 2 lunches are the 2 days that the student is at school. So phase 2 is when we return to our normal school days. So why did we need this? What do we need from you? What's the input that we need? We need you to please email, text, or talk with your principal about our drafted plan. We want to make sure we are all on the same page. All questions will be placed into a frequently asked question document and shared out with all of you. Because if you have that question, there's others that have that same question. Once we have a finalized plan, we will share it with all of you. And then finally, there is no date or timeline. Please remember, we are not saying this plan is going into action right now. What we are saying is we need to create the plan to be ready. If the date or the timeline becomes apparent, we will communicate that with you as quickly as we can. But right now, I do not see any date in the future or timeline in the future where phase one can be enacted and still be our safest way forward. But I have to have phase one in place. Thank you, and Jennifer is going to cover the schedules themselves. Have a great day.
Hello, everyone. My goal is to review some adjusted schedules that we have for our elementary staff and students. We are not exactly sure when these adjustments might take place. We're hoping sometime in January. The first I'm going to show you is a virtual schedule. This is for kinder intervention, kindergarten, and twee kindergarten. It is not much different than what you do right now. Your day starts at the same time. You have 2 hours of Zoom teaching, and then you have an hour and a half for planning and lunch. What is different in this schedule is your first tutoring session can only be via Zoom, and you'll see why in just a minute, because it's an impact from the upper grade levels. But your second session, if students are permitted back face-to-face, you can have the tutoring then. We will still also run our homework help via Zoom, or they can come in a Zoom meeting with you. Then we will continue with our specials classes from 12:30 to 1:30. These are optional via Zoom. Asynchronous lessons remain the same. So not much change for kindergarten in the district. If we go to a hybrid, and that is where 50% of your students would come in person on Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, all would be a virtual learning day. And then on Thursday and Friday, the other 50% would come in person. So for kinder, they would come in and start their Zoom at 9 a.m. And the students at home would be Zooming. The students in class would be Zooming. From 11 to 2:45, then you would only work with the cohort A students. Now, there are a lot of things that would happen there. I don't have this all figured out. That I will work with building principals to figure out a schedule. But basically, teacher and student lunch, some recess, a special afternoon small group instruction. So there's a few hours in the afternoon to plan for. We will get more specific as we get closer to the date. Then students will leave at 2:45, and teachers will have their planning at the end of the day. There are some changes to the there are not many changes here for kindergarten on the asynchronous lessons. Wednesdays are virtual learning days for all students. No students would be in the building. And then Thursday would be cohort B. So you repeat student switch. So you have 50% of your students in class, the other 50%, and the rest of them are at home via Zoom. So this schedule is just for kindergarten. So not too many changes there. For elementary, grades 1 through 5, there is a bit of a change in this schedule. So when we are virtual, whether we're 100% virtual or students are permitted to come in the afternoon for tutoring, we are going to adjust our Zoom classes. And you will have 90 minutes every morning from 9 until 10:30 for Zoom SFA groups. Now for first grade, students are going to remain in their classes with their homeroom teacher. We are not going to move students, first graders, to different levels, but grades 2 through 5 will move based on their reading scores. And the SFA facilitators are working closely and carefully with Julie Ray to ensure groups are equitable and appropriate. So 90 minutes of reading every morning from 9 until 10:30. Then everyone will have a 15-minute break. And then for another 90 minutes, then students will log in to their homeroom teacher. So on Mondays, they'll have math and writing. You can read this. And then Tuesdays will be math and science or social studies, etc. So we've added an hour of Zoom learning each day. Then from 12:15 until 2 o'clock is time for teacher collaboration, your planning time, and your lunch. We will continue with the face-to-face tutoring appointments or Zoom, depending the situation that we're in. We will also continue with the homework hotline. From 12:30 to 1:30, again, we will continue with our specials by grade level. We have changed a little bit. We've adjusted the asynchronous lessons each day because we will have reading every day. There is no need for reading asynchronous lessons. So you can see in this schedule, it is slightly adjusted. Now remember, this is for when we are virtual. The last piece of this puzzle is for grades 1 through 5 when we are in hybrid. So just like the kinder schedule, 50% of the students would be in person on Monday and Tuesday, while the others are at home learning. Wednesday's a virtual day, and then Thursday and Friday, the other half of the students come. We'll continue with SFA, 90 minutes from 9 until 10:30. Since we do need to limit the movement of students in the building, again, this will be via Zoom. They would not move classrooms and go to their SFA teacher. And again, remember, first grade will stay with their classroom teacher for reading roots. And then there'll be a short break and 90 additional minutes, just like the other schedule I showed you earlier, for math, writing, science, social studies, etc. Wednesday is the virtual learning day, so there is a bit of an adjustment from Wednesday to Friday. And the afternoon from 12:15 to 2:45, just like kindergarten, there are some pieces in here we would like to do in that amount of time, but that will be left to the building principals to create that schedule. All teachers then will have planning the last hour of the day. On Wednesday, there is additional planning and meeting time built into the schedule. And then again, the asynchronous lessons are a little bit different, but they would not change from the other adjusted schedule that I showed you. Thank you.